Thanks a lot again for joining us today. We are going through the second session of our career club today, and we are going to share with you tips for your career and basically tips how to tailor it quite quick with a quick feedback loop. And by quick, I mean quarterly. So not only setting goals yearly, not only having this half a year reviews or year reviews, but also having it in more quicker feedback loops. And also, the important thing that I'm going to cover today is about setting transparent relationship with your manager. So let's go. Oops, sorry. So a little bit about myself. It's around 8, already 9 plus experience with tech industry. I started after university to work as an internship engineer, and today I have many positions at the same time. I founder and director of Women Coding Community. That's helped me a lot to volunteer and build and give back everything that I can do, which is very rewarding experience, and also helped me to build more robust soft skills. Pitch ideas, sell ideas, which also helpful in the workplace. Today, I'm VP Lead Software Engineer at JP Morgan Chase, and just recently, ex-senior second progression level software engineer at Revolut. Um, and I'm speaker at conferences, at online events, and experienced mentor, which is good to say that first mentorship we launched together with Women Who Code 3-4 years ago. And that's how I built my experience as a mentor as well. So let me start with something that's the first ever thing coming when you trying to think about your career as something that you can tailor quarterly. And this is, of course, goals. So set your goals for the quarter, share it with your manager, and at the end of the quarter, revisit these goals. So why highlight it? Because quarterly feedback, it's a quick feedback loop. It's 3 months and you already check if you achieved what you wanted, or if you're close to what you wanted, or if you need to improve something. So how to set up your goals? It should be the very specific list of actions that could be X, Y, and Z to achieve. And also, when you do this setting of goals, keep a bigger picture in your head. Think like, by the end of the year, where you would like to be. Would you like to be in the next seniority position? Would you like to be in having more reporters, or would you like to build some particular projects and build them and deploy to production? So think about what you want to achieve in 1 year, how you can do small steps to this, and put list of those small steps. And by thinking about your year goal, also think what is about 5 years, 10 years, where you would like to be ideally at the end. You always can readjust it during your journey. It's not necessary will be the same company. It's not necessary will be the same role. It could be very different despite of information that you get while you're going forward to these goals. But starting with some abstract idea where you would like to be in the 5 years, which will help you to set the compass. That's compass that will navigate you where you want to be in your first year, in current year, and how your quarter by quarter can achieve those goals. So when we put it quarterly for a year, we can start from the beginning of the year and setting the goals, especially maybe very interesting as soon as New Year is coming. Think about it right now. And for the end of the quarter, For the second quarter, it's already half a year, so you're already ready for mid of year review if you have something like this in your company, like having first quarter is also cleared with goals, with everything you would like to achieve. It's very helpful to come to second quarter with the same ideas and then come into mid review with already kind of back with many things that you achieved or what you discussed with your manager, what to achieve next, etc. For third quarter, you again look at your yearly goals and you rethink them. Maybe you need to realign them. Maybe you need to change something. Maybe you achieved something quicker, so you need to put something else on your plate, or vice versa. Maybe you need to push some goals in the next year or drop them at all, and you need to put their different goals because they will help you for your career in this company. For example, you maybe were focused on building something from scratch, but then you realize that it will be more benefit to have manage and mentor people around who will build something. It's possible. And at the end of the year, you targeting close your projects, close your ideas, like what exactly you wanted, what worked, what didn't work. And you have maybe some tech debt in engineering side, for example. You also think how to close all your debts. And that's how you come to the next year. So we go in loop by loop, but these quarterly settings help us to help us to build quick feedback loop. So how to be on the track? Do not lose ideas. Go and schedule a weekly catch-ups with your managers. Maybe one managers. Maybe you think that several stakeholders who can directly affect your career, and you would like to work with them. And you should think, okay, how I can set up quite at least be weekly catch-ups with them, because that will lead you to the point where you would like to be. It's not necessary. It's not only your line manager, not necessarily only your line manager. Think about other people who your role models in the company and think how you can be in touch with them, maybe help them with some projects, maybe learn from them, ask them to be your mentors. So think about all this and schedule bi-weekly one-to-one. You also can get mentor externally, for example, from Women Coding Community Mentorship Program, and go through the same frameworks. Schedule a bi-weekly catch-ups, put your goals, highlight X, Y, Y that you would like to achieve. Ask for career guidance. So there are so many things where you can get and benefit from those meetings, but you are driver of those meetings. You are someone who come with agenda. What exactly I would like to get from these meetings. You are someone who owner of your career. When you work with line manager, be ready to give them kinder feedback. It's very important because sometimes things are not going as it's expected. But what you need to do on these catch-ups, come to them with quite transparent feedback. Like, "Hey, actually, this quarter was under the pressure, or these 2 weeks, or these months, because stakeholders didn't reply in time or put tech debt on us. Some another team didn't deliver their stuff in time, and we had to cut corners by implementing it for them, for example. So basically, to achieve goals of the project, you had to do something that you have not expected to do. Or a lot of people was on holidays and vacation, and that's come with additional load for your work. The most important thing here, do not hide it under the carpet. Do not think that it's something that's happening as normal thing. No, highlight that's everything that didn't go well as you expected, come to your one-to-one and tell them, actually, I didn't expect it to go in this way. Also, be very candor with feedback to your manager. So if you see that they didn't reply you in time and delayed you from important decisions, also highlight with them. Tell them like you want it to be done, but I can't get it done before you also give me all necessary information. Because for them, it's very important to reflect on their skills and on their management strategies and see if they can build everything with good timelines. Maybe they have gaps to improve something in their time management as well. So do not hesitate to be very transparent, and trust me, managers waiting for reporters to also help them with guidance and hints how to improve their management line. So again, give them candid feedback and align them with all projects and problems, especially with problems. When you achieved something, do not forget to put it in your brag book. It could be Google Docs. It could be something else. I would say Google Docs is the easiest way to share with everyone around, with other people, with your manager, etc. So have a habit to write down what you basically have done through last 2 weeks or last even week. One of the best hint for this is block time slot on Friday. So where you put like, okay, this week I done X, Y, and Z. And then you won't forget to do this because it's really easy to forget to put things that's done. It's really easy just to go with your tasks, with demands, and go and go and go. And then you do not remember what you've done when. And it's harder to get a very clear picture of your quarter. And again, if you do not even target quarter, at the end of the year, it will be even harder. So don't forget to comment it. And when you do your things with your line manager, it's also good to document and keep notes like what exactly you've discussed. So your time with your line managers, with your mentors, it's even more valuable than like any meetings. There are like 3-4 people. And for you and for your career, it's very important to get the most from those meetings. So the things that we can do is to write it down, see what's happened, where you spend with 30 or 40 or maybe hour of discussions. How, because your manager is the one who is responsible for your promotion, for your pay raise, etc. That's how it works in big companies. All stakeholders, if you're a consultant, it's very important to keep track of stakeholders as well. They are responsible for your paycheck as well. So these documents are very important for you to keep it sync, to keep it up to date, and to be ready for promotion with all these pitches. And trust me, it's very easy for your managers when you show them your document, your brag book, to also report to their managers, like why exactly you need to be promoted, what exactly you achieved. It's really easier for them as well, because they should remember about not only you, but 5 other people, for example. So you really can help your career and them to achieve more if you do all these good habits. And that's it. So I had very short presentation today. It was more like TED Talk, but not for my minutes, 15 minutes. And if you'd like to connect with me and ask any questions, I'm happy to answer. And I'm happy to answer for them today as well. So right now I stop sharing. And yeah, I'm ready. So I see first raised hand, Lizzie.
Hi, Irina. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was really good. So this is actually something I really struggle with. I really so at my so oh I should introduce myself. I'm Lizzie. I'm a data engineer, and at my company we actually have like the quarterly meetings like set. So it's like we have like quarterly feedback essentially, and generally have like bi-weekly catch-ups with my manager, and I really struggle to kind of take full advantage of that. And part of that is because I have ADHD, so things like keeping track of what I do and doing it, that's like naturally quite difficult for me. So I guess my question is, do you have any tips? Like, have you heard whether you're neurodiverse yourself, or know of like what other neurodiverse people do to kind of help with this process? Yeah, I find this really
Yes,
difficult.
yeah. Good tips. I understand what you're talking about. It's struggling. It's about do not know where to start. So good tip that you build a document and you put first template for this. So instead of thinking like what I achieved, what I can put there, you go for inspiration first and build template. And it could be like anything basically to push you, to unlock you. The first thing is just to unlock yourself. So
Mhm,
good template could be the thing, because you don't think about the structure anymore when you put it. You first think about structure, you can procrastinate about hour on it, but the most important thing is to put it there and then start to unlock yourself. As soon
mhm,
as you put the structure of this document, you start to write something that could be. Then go to any ideas, just write in the flow, etc. And
mhm,
like next day, you start to polish it. Like first, put everything that's coming into your mind into the
mhm,
structure, and then after a day, you can look again at it, and then you can start to polish it and think like, okay, what is the main points of all of this, etc.
mhm, mhm,
The main point is indeed unlock yourself through small steps, baby steps.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
like for me, for example, what really worked was being, disciplined about allocating time to
Mhm,
actually do that thinking. So through the week, I'm extremely busy, right? So what I do, and I'm guilty of, is of having like thousands of post-it notes, right? So I just write down on like post-it notes, and then literally by the end of the week, I have like a little stash. But what I do
mhm,
for a couple of months now, actually I have this little ritual that, before I shut down on Friday, I'm going
mhm.
to go through all these post-it notes, and I will pretty much allocate and organize them in my OneNotes, the notes from
Yeah, yeah.
the app. So,
Mhm,
and then what I don't need, I just throw away, and that sort of gives me this satisfaction as well.
mhm.
It's like, okay, one done, this goes, it's in there. So
Yeah.
maybe like, just note everything down, whatever works for you, giving you a busy lifestyle, but maybe have just that one dedicated 1 hour a week when you go through your notes and you
Mhm,
consolidate them in like kind of like a golden copy, if that makes sense. So I
mhm, mhm.
that works. You can try and see if that works for you. But
Yeah.
I had the same problem because it's just so much in our lives sometimes, and this is obviously particular to achievements, right? And sometimes it goes unnoticed. Just write
Mhm.
down in, I don't know, whatever it works for you, your notes on phone, post-it notes, but have that 1 hour a week, I would recommend, just to consolidate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I see the question in the chat from Ash. I read the question. I'm new to software engineer and currently studying home on my own and looking to either just a coding course or to go to uni. Which path would you suggest to accelerate my career? I would ask first, are you already working, or you looking for your first ever job? Could you give us a little bit more context? First job, you're looking for the first job. Okay. There is two paths how to do this. Because you just new and from university, Yeah, I would definitely recommend to do certifications, at least certifications. University give you much more credits. Like as soon as you have university in your backpack, it's give much more credit to employer. They understand that you come in from this background. So if it's another case, but it's more like for career switch or for first job in software engineering, is to build long-term project and do something like 100 days of coding and some things that you can share with recruiters, and you can define it like defeat this project. Like you can explain why did you pick up these tools, why did you pick up these frameworks, etc. But you need at least mentor for this. So it's harder way. Between these two, I definitely would recommend in the first place uni, because that will be simpler for HRs, for recruiters to pick up your resume. Yeah, okay. Lisa?
Sorry, I have another question. I wanted to ask both of you in terms of what are like, I know you went through this briefly in your presentation, but like, what are some ways during your one-to-ones, like a structure that you found very useful to kind of get the most out of it, kind of out of your bi-weekly ones? Because though I struggle with that as well, kind of, because my quarterly ones are always very useful, but my bi-weekly ones, I think I just go into it like completely blank a lot of the times, which definitely is related to maybe not necessarily keeping track of what I'm doing. But even outside of that, I find it quite difficult.
Is it bi-weekly specific to your career objectives?
Hmm?
Is it specific, these bi-weekly, are they specific to your career objectives?
No, they probably should be, but
just
no, they're more about how's project work been, if that makes sense. So it's not very much,
Mm.
But I'd kind of like to turn it into that. I would like to turn it to that direction.
Again, good thing to template in it first. So you're ready because you built template. What exactly you would like to do as a structure? Yeah. First step is what you've done, basically.
Yeah.
Next step, like what you would like to do else in the future, and like stand up blockers. Yeah. And I always put there some ideas what else I would like to do. Maybe I would like to participate at some projects. And another thing also to ask how big a picture is going on, like, because it's your time with your manager, and it's also about how like they know more about other projects, etc. So having several questions like how other teams are doing, is there help needs at somewhere, like what a project the most priority right now. It's very good question to actually understand how to move inside company, like what is the most important things there right now. It will help you as well to build bigger picture. Yeah. So that's like 4 or 5 things that you can discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, when I have my meetings with my manager, so it's pretty much always starts with me providing an update on each of the projects that I work. And provide this update, so I pretty much highlight, the progress, and then what works well and what doesn't work very well, right? So where do I think are potential risks to delivery, for example, right? And then with that, I propose my solution for how I think I can fix this uncertainty, and I run this by them, and I pretty much check if they agree that it's a good way forward. Or alternatively, I ask them if they could help me to address essentially this areas of uncertainty. And then when I tell them about my progress and what I think is going well, I pretty much align with them on whether that meets their expectations, right? Because what is working for me might not be what they're looking at, right? Because a key thing, and I think one of the key messages for when it comes to meeting, your manager on bi-weekly meeting, it's aligning on expectations, right?
Mhm.
I think that's one of the key things that sometimes can go a little bit in different directions, and that's when it can be a little bit tricky, right? And I
Yeah.
think what Irina pointed out about the bigger picture is quite important as well, because if you're on the ground and operating into a detail of the project or the activity, you might not have capacity to have a view on the wider picture. And it's not like you need to, right? But
Mhm.
on the bi-weekly basis, it's good to ask that question, because ultimately you need to know, where your project or your activity fits within the bigger picture, right? So
Mhm.
it's enabling something that wider organization is trying to achieve, and by you having that connection, ultimately will bring you work and job fulfillment, and you will feel that you're part of something important, and that your job is valuable, right?
Yeah.
So that's usually how I go about it.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a few more questions. So let's start with Helena. Backend web developer working with PHP, SQL, JavaScript, 10 plus years. And after some years of volunteering and freelancing, need to get a job. Want to upgrade my CV and do career towards data engineering, Python, DevOps. Taking a couple of certificated courses by IBM and Harvard, and plan doing some projects to build a portfolio, ideally for some organization having a positive impact as women. Yeah, good ideas. Any other tips from women coding community? We really engage you to go to our Slack and see what programs we have in women coding community. And also your question is very good to share with others, even in our Slack, because here is only 2 of us today, but in our Slack you have a big community. Slack is more than 600 people, which is mean you can give even more points like how to move forward. The first thing, go even in Slack and share with us. Second thing, what else we can do from women coding community is about giving mentors. You can enroll in mentorship program, and you can enroll for mentor who already in data engineering and Python. And by the way, right now we have coding club in Python, which led by very experienced data engineer. And she also maybe have jobs in her company where they hiring, where they're looking for new joiners as well. Another thing is build networking, as were proposed by Eka as well. Look at our community regarding conference tickets. Yeah, because when you come to conference, you also can build a network there, and you can not only learn something new from this conference, but contact with people and asking like if anyone looking for new joiner for their company. Okay, that's 3 tips. I hope that helped. Did I answer your question? Yeah, and please join our Slack and share there as well, because we are really open to help anyone, and there could be even more tips and ideas for your journey. The same for Ash. So, Ash, for your question, how quickly get into the career? Again, yes, I would recommend to go through 3 courses, and they will save you time as well. However, I would consider that for your first ever job, you put there your CV, which has, for example, 3 certifications. But for first ever job, without any experience yet, you compete with postgraduates. And the thing that when recruiters are looking at your CV, it's maybe that they will prefer someone who did the uni program. So I cautious about like, if you asking what exactly will work better, still I will count more on university, but it doesn't mean you can't try when you already had certifications. If you ask which give you most probability, like which give you more chances, my answer is, of course, university, because that's give you again more credibility for recruiters. But it doesn't stop you from doing courses for free, learning, build projects, and go there with your CV as well. Just be mindful that you need plan B as well if the plan A doesn't work. Okay, question from Jen. First, how do you explain about 3 months gap in your working experience between Yandex and Alveo? And do you have any suggestions for someone who used to code for 8 years and 2 years pause because of pursuing no code career, then want to return to programmer? Let me answer the first question. I'm not sure if there was a gap, but I will check on my LinkedIn. I came into UK and I started to work for Vue in March. Yeah. And I finished Yandex in December. So we can say that January, February, I didn't work. Okay, that's 2 months indeed. For me, it's easy explanation. I came to a new country. I didn't have job. I was looking for a job, and I spent 2 months to find it with experience from Yandex. Did I answer this question?
I think one thing I'll say
Yes,
about
yes.
the gaps on your CV. So I think these days it's not, as massive red flag as it used to be, maybe 5 or whatever many years ago, at least from my experience, because I do a lot of interviews at my work, and I did quite a bit at my previous work, and couple of months of gaps between jobs, that's usually is not a red flag, just in case if someone is wondering, right? So I think what is more of concern to recruiters and potential places where you can work is rather about job hopping, right? If you don't stay at one work for too long. So that's usually as a red flag. But I wouldn't work too much about the gaps in CV, because I think these days it's quite normal, because people think about things, they take breaks to change jobs or to get new skills and stuff like that. So usually that's not something that, let's say in my experience, is getting picked up.
Yeah, I would say today would never be asked from recruiters about these 2 months.
Yeah, I've never had. I mean, I don't, have a gap in my career, but I've seen so many CVs coming in, and for me personally, and for my fellow colleagues who are looking for, new recruits, this never really been an issue.
Yes, if I
Okay,
can
thank you.
finish, yeah. So the thing that what I would be careful if you hop in between jobs, because, for example, you change country. For me, it's quite clear because I moved to a new country, right? So I finished my work in one country and I moved to another. And first months I spent looking for flats, to be honest. I needed to realize where I am even. And then I think after 2 weeks of trying to understand where I am and finding the flat to rent, I started to do a lot of interviews, preparing a lot of lead code to prepare to coding levels interviews, coding tasks. It's something that you don't solve in your work day-to-day life. So every time you start from scratch with algorithms and data structures. Yeah, and then it even didn't feel for me as a gap because finding the job itself a job. So I remember I spent like the whole day of calling recruiters, talking with them about my CV, etc. And in the evening, I was solving these home tasks because I don't know how it works right now, but back then, a lot of companies send me home task, ask me to complete this, which we required, 1 to 3 days to solve. If I do this in the evening, because on daylight I'm talking with recruiters, and then give it to them, and then they give this feedback if they ever give me the first ever interview, right? So that was that is a border for engineer. Like even to get into the interview, you need to solve some task to be heard from them. At least that was my experience a lot. So of course, like it took at least 1 month to find job. Sometimes it takes like several months just to find job. It depends on your level. Then higher your level, to be honest, it will be harder to find jobs, and it may be even more and more interviews that you can go through, like 4 or 5 interviews. And sometimes even some companies, they have gaps in their recruiting process. So they schedule coding interview with you, and then they say, oh, unfortunately, we will have a window to schedule next stage of interview only 2 months. And if you don't have any job right now, and if you really were looking for this company, like you maybe will stuck for these 2 months just waiting for the interview. So it's not about gap in your, like, that you didn't do anything. But another thing that I would highlight in this topic, be mindful there's a longer gap when you don't have yet a lot of experience. It's better go, like, job hopping is bad, but at the same time, it's better to go to some job and maybe spend the years there rather than you wait for 2-3 more months and your gap will become half a year, because that's already half a year and you didn't do half a year anything. That might start question recruiters. So still, small gaps wouldn't affect you, and as many years passed as you didn't have any gaps, then better. Like lastly, I joined without even break. Like Friday, my last job, Monday, my new job. Everyone around asked me, why didn't you get holidays or something? But I told them, but that's how it works to me. Why should I? But at the same time, be mindful. Like, try do not allow these gaps to be too long. Even we have in community bright examples of very brave quality assurance engineer Eleonora. She had to return back to home country because she couldn't find any job in new country in 3 months, and she realized if it will be half a year gap, yes, it will be even worse for recruiters. So she came with her partner, but they came through this risk, like not risk, but of course uncomfortable time when they had to separate themselves again because of her career. She had back to her country because there it was easy for her to find job. And after a year, she find very good job, very good position in there she could go back to her partner and live in new country with her partner. That's bright example of sometimes you need to sacrifice relationship. For me, it was I also came in new country with my partner, joined my partner. I didn't have to sacrifice because I found it in 2 months. It's not long time. However, if you there is example where you had to sacrifice for a while being with your partner together to continue your career. Otherwise, it could be a bit dangerous situation for her, like didn't have any job for half a year, could start affect how recruiters looking at her CV. So that's an interesting topic to speak. Sorry, I'm going. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Now, let me go again for your second question. Do you have any suggestion for someone who used code for 8 years, then 2 years pause, and then return as programmer? Yeah, so again, building networks, building pets projects. If you would like to go as a backend or frontend, you even can contribute in our projects of our community, and we becoming more and more popular. So it will be recognizable for pets project for contribution. Because here I would say apply, but sometimes it's very important if you noticed by a recruiter. We had just recently very good career case when our volunteer, she was looking for a job, and she helped a lot with book club, with machine learning track, and she was contacted recruiter about community. And then she asked them, like, if they have jobs, if they're looking right now for someone to fulfill the position that they shared in LinkedIn. And that's how she finally break into the stage of the interview. Before this, she sent a lot of CVs, a lot of emails with her CV, but she didn't get any reply. And then recruiter directly contacted her about community. She break into this. So that's a bit biased advice, go and volunteer for us, but I share real stories that just worked just months ago. And we are so happy. Everyone's so happy for her. And she also had mentor with our community who were giving her good tips, like how to prepare to these interviews, like how to spend better time for home tasks from this company. Yeah, so something like this can help, like build network, build pet projects, try to be recognizable. Some people, even for career switchers, recommend to record the video and put on LinkedIn, because then it will be easier for recruiters to recognize your CV around many, many CVs. So that's a few suggestions that I can give.
Thank you, Irina. I will check the project in the community.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, but there is some questions and answers. Okay. Good. I'm happy that link is working right now. Tips for interviews. Do you recommend doing lead code, etc.? It depends on how interview conducted by company. For example, I shared that I did a lot of lead code, but that's because I tried to Google, and they they do this stage of lead code, as well as Meta, as well as Amazon, as well as many companies. Well, not many, but big tech companies. Who else? I don't remember who else do the same. Even for my current job, the first interview was coding part, which was lead code task. I recognized it, and I could even Google this lead code task after the interview. That's why I would say it first of all depends of what exactly company is asking. In my previous company where I worked for, I did a lot of interviews, and the coding stage not about lead code at all. It's about how you solve your day-to-day tasks, which is a bit different to lead code tasks, but again, it's a bit depends. I would say lead code is very good right now for practicing problem solving. And you can join community and look at our lead code program channel and join other members who has right now Sonali going through this, and she has already 14 years experience, but she decided to go through 30 days challenge task for problem solving tasks from lead code, which is which should give them sense, like even if you're already in programming, if you're already in software engineering, it doesn't mean that you like it's lead code is not something that you just now wake up with knowledge of how to solve it. You still need to prepare to interviews. You still need to go and practice and practice and practice. And in my previous company, again, I had colleagues who were senior engineers. They moved with a job in this country, and they realized actually a lot of companies asking these lead code tasks, and they started to solve it every day for 2 years. For 3 years, they gained some t-shirt. Like I solved 200, 300 lead code tasks, something like this. So they put it as consistently. And that's, yes, that's helped them to go to some interesting jobs, like Bloomberg also asking for these lead code tasks. It's one good tips that we can recommend, but at the same time, check this company you're going to interview for. Maybe they're not looking for lead code task. Maybe five or 10 companies you're looking at, they don't look at lead code tasks, but they looking at something else. And you need to build gaps. You need to close gaps in something else. In this case, I would recommend to not spend time for lead code for this stage, but close gaps where you need to close. Spend for something that you need to do, more importantly, for interview for this company. So it depends. Not every company asking for lead code tasks. Yeah, and other tips, I think we need run session next year maybe for tips for interviews, record it and put. But for now, I can tell you that if you Google tips for interviews, women who code, you will find like three recording of our previous community, Women Who Code, where we did panel discussions. And we covered so many topics there, so I wouldn't try to reiterate through everything that we covered back then, which is why that will be my next tip. Listen to these talks it will help as well. Yeah, okay. Okay, any more questions? We're almost in time, 8 p.m. Okay, let me check if we have questionnaire for this one. If we have feedback form ready, prepared. Career Club. We should have. Yeah, I think we can stop recording as well. And yeah, just let me.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I'm going to stop now.